And I think I am live. Think I'm live, yeah. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to my desk. It's Saturday here in Denmark, and I was just flipping through an yeah, now I can say it's an old sketchbook. It's from 2022, and I don't know where all the years passed because this sketchbook is not filled out. I still got some pages left, and I don't feel it's old. You know what I mean? But it's 3 years ago that I started working in this sketchbook here, and just for fun, I was just flipping through it, and then I stopped at this gouache painting here. I didn't write what the reference was. So, and I know this is not my style. So it's probably a picture that I found on Pinterest or something. But I'm looking at it and I can see that it's definitely done with gouache, but there's so many things that I would like to touch up before it's pleasant for me to look at it. Like, I don't like that fuzzy edge around the moon. What is that about? I think when you're painting in gouache, it should be like matte and have edge and a sharp. It should just be sharper. And then I dislike that I saturated my gouache with water so that it's not mass tone completely. And again, here, I must have come in with a wet brush or something because it picked up the underlying black gouache. And I still like the painting. That's not it, but I just cannot get past over these things. So I want to remake it. And I also feel that this should be in white dots, but because I came in with such a thin, watered down gouache, they have picked up the underlying painting, so now they look like gray. So there's a lot of things that I would feel is a little bit sloppy, if you would call it that. I definitely have changed my way of working with gouache since 2022. Let's just say that. I am more in for the complete opaque now and not using it like a sort of watercolor where it's watered down. Oh, hi, Devon. You could imagine a little tiger face peeking out. Yeah, they would be so cute, right? But I think it's funny how I can not get past this gouache painting because I see all the things that I want to change. So I thought it could be fun to remake it. So instead of fixing what's annoying for me, I think I would like to, on the opposite side, to do a remake of it. I remember when I worked in this journal here that I only wanted to paint on this side and then not on the back of it because it kind of goes through a little bit. So I look at this page here and I don't have any feelings about this page either. So I'm probably going to destroy what's on this end here if it goes through too much. But I actually don't really care because I think it could be fun to do a remake. So I took this jar here and it's almost the same shape as the moon. So I'm just gonna work with that as the moon. And I actually think, okay, it's nice that the moon is white, but it could be nicer if it had some sort of a bleak yellow color. So it's not just white, because then maybe the dots on the trees would pop more. I'm just thinking. So it's it's just going to be a gouache painting of me looking at this page here, trying to see how would it actually look if I did all the corrections that I feel an urge to go in and do to this page spread here. I think what's really annoying me is that I watered down the gouache so much that it's no longer opaque. Can you see that right there? It's not opaque. Also here, it's like super annoying because I know how beautiful it can look if I can really hit that opaqueness. So these floral things down here, they would pop more if I don't water it down. So yeah, guys, that's the plan for today. So instead of a white moon, I definitely would go in with something really pale. I'm working with my Himi Mia 112 gouache palette. It looks like this. And I have really enjoyed the whole concept about pre-mixed gouache, especially because I learned that it saves so much white. Usually, when you don't have so many colors to just grab and go, you have to mix your own colors and you use a lot of white. So I kind of like having all these pre-mixed pens to work. Even though, yeah, I get it. 112 colors, that's a lot. It can be overwhelming if you're not used to have such a huge palette in front of you. I mean, you can look at all the colors and then suddenly get in doubt which one to pick, what to paint. So in that aspect, it's a huge palette. But once you kind of just, you know, jump into it and start painting with gouache, you will realize that all that pre-mixed is actually coming into an advantage, because sometimes when you have to mix your own colors and make a tint out with white, it's always on the gefühl, on the feeling, on how much white did I add to this yellow to make it like so bright. So it's just annoying with wrong mixes that is piling up on your palette. So having pre-mixed pans, you are ensured to have the exact yellow that you're working with, and not having a mix that's having too much of the yellow, when you move to the other color, if it makes any sense. Yeah, but already now I like that pale look of the moon instead of the white. The background, I really like that it's that petrol blue. So it's not a generic blue color. I think it's such a cool color, the petrol blue. And I am, of course, wondering if the easiest wouldn't be to just cover the whole page with that petrol blue. Because since we're working with gouache, it will hopefully be layering opaque on top of the petrol blue, even though I have to go in with some very white mixed green here. So let's just take the chance. And this is where it's just so convenient that you have pre-mixed pans, because I'm not running out of that petrol blue mix. Oh, look how beautiful it is. Oh my God. Next to that pale yellow. Yeah, that's a good color choice. Okay, now this time here, I'm going in with less water, so I will get like a super matte background. And I will try and have a crisp round moon, and not that fuzzy. What's up with that fuzzy edge right there? I read it a little bit as sloppy for some reason. So the thing I like about gouache paintings is that illustrative sharp edge, matte look. So I think, I don't know, maybe it's so fuzzy because I was used to watercolor, and I was thinking that it could be nice to have the light from the moon be a little bit fuzzy when it comes out into the sky, but I don't think that it's fitting the medium. I mean, if you're painting with gouache, you kind of expect a certain look of it, I would say. So let's just try and redo this. And guys, when you see how I just slowly build up this painting here with layers, you will notice how easy it is. It's like a super beginner friendly motif to paint. You can do this in acrylic also. It doesn't need to be in gouache. So it's mostly just starting from the furthest back in the background and then adding and adding until you are in the foreground of your motif. And I think maybe that's why I like to switch between watercolor and gouache so much, because it's very difficult to paint like that with watercolor because it's a transparent medium. So it's sometimes hard to start from the back and build to the front with a lighter color. You really need to either mask out those areas or, paint around them, because in watercolor you wouldn't be able to layer a light green on a black background, for instance. So switching mediums between the watercolor that's transparent and then this opaque nice gouache is just a nice way for me to kind of switch things up in my I want to say art room. Like just do something different. Ooh, I like that. Just crisp. Do you find it difficult to keep from contaminating the gouache cups? Um, no. I've always been messy, so I kind of accept that some things may be a bit contaminating, but I'm actually very lucky. I don't know with what I'm doing. Like at the moment, I'm also using this Cotman palette at the moment, where I somehow managed to, when I'm done painting, just kind of clean it up a little bit and then just, yeah, I can't explain it, but this is a mess. If you're asking for mess, this constellation here is just asking for it, because when you wet this dollop here, it will travel to the neighbor dollops. So I feel that my mess is more about watercolor. That the watercolor pans, they are hard for me to keep clean, where the gouache is somehow not a problem for some reason. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because I really paint saturated. So when I dip in, if there is any contamination, it's most likely going to disappear with the next painting session because I really dig into the cups. You probably can't tell because when the camera is filming it up close, it looks like all the cups are so super bright. But when I'm just gonna lift out one of them. Like it looks so filled and brand new, but when you slant it, you can tell it's been used. Um, how can I slant it? Maybe you can see now that there is a only like half left in this cup here. But when I just film it like this, it looks like it's super new and filled up. And when I dip in, I simply a dip in. So the gouache underneath is clean. Yeah, if that helped. But I got another gouache set, and I think you guys remember it. It's the generic Himi Mia, the teal green set that had, was it like 36 cups or 24 or something? I think it was 36. And I sealed that up with saran wrap, and I'm checking in on it weekly, I would say, and it's still holding up. And my plan is to use that as some sort of a backup to my 112 palette. so that when I need to restock a color, I will grab it from the other Himimiya palette so that I keep on using this humongous one as my go-to desk palette, and that makes sure that I use it more often. So a good example is that I need to refill this ultramarine blue. I don't know if the camera is really bad at telling, but there's only like this left of the ultramarine. Um, so that's a good tip from me, that if you have suddenly accumulated 3 palettes of gouache, sewn in on one palette, the one you like the most, and use that, and then seal up your gouache palette and use them as restocking up when you go low on a color. Like this petrol blue that I'm working with now, I can mix that on my own. It's not difficult to mix this color. So my plan is that I'm just gonna try and fill up when when I feel that it's time to fill up, and then try not to fill them up like 100%, but only fill them up halfway. So if I get contamination, it's luckily just gonna be half a cup that's contaminated and not like a full batch of the color. So, but yeah, my very first gouache palette was back in 2019, I think. And I managed to empty that out completely by using it as a refiller for my Himi gouache, the 36 palette. And it kind of took the pressure out of having two gouache palettes at the same time. You know, that I, you know, the reason why I'm talking about this pressure and whatnot is because the gouache is a medium that can actually dry out. And I don't like working with it dry. I like to work with it wet. So it's one of those few art supplies in my stash that needs to have a monthly maintenance where I need to check on it, stir it, and then maybe add a little bit of water mixed with glycerin to keep it moist. So it can be stressful if you have too many gouache palettes in your collection, because that just means that you need to check on more palettes each month. So my plan is to not buy any more gouache until I have used up the Himi stash palettes. So everything is in that huge palette right here, because then I know that if I'm running low on white, then that's just the white I got left. I don't have a stash somewhere. So that's kind of the plan. I do have a professional graded gouache set from Schminke, and it was super expensive. And for some reason, I don't like to paint with it because it was so expensive. I don't know. It's just because it was so pricey, I feel that I need to paint something super special with it. But when does that special drawing ever appear? I mean, I'm not the kind of girl who sits down with a piece of paper thinking like, now I'm gonna do that special um likable piece, because I'm just playing. So in hindsight, I think that yeah, I kind of have not buying remorse, but I don't think that I will go out and buy expensive gouache again, because I apparently don't enjoy using such an expensive paint. I can settle with this Himi gouache here. And plus, I don't, sell any of these drawings, so I don't feel that, it's just for personal use. So I don't, I don't mind. Um, I ended up buying a set of whole vine gouache. I have only used a bit so far. Oh, congratulations, Donovan. I was tempted by the jelly gouache though, but I don't think I would use enough. I like how I like low maintenance supplies. Yeah, me too. Yeah, especially because it's tedious to re-wake a dried, crumbled gouache back to a moist consistence. My best advice is just to pour water in it and then let it sit overnight and then start stirring in it. But it's very tedious, especially if you have like a huge palette of it. I think the whole barn gouache is super nice. I've never tried it before. Next on my list, if I was a millionaire, beside the Schminke gouache set, I would definitely want to try the Turner gouache for some reason. Um, I sometimes see that it's on a deal, like you can save some money on it. So yeah, Turner is on my radar. Oh my God, look how wet this page is. It's totally crinkling up. That's not nice. I think I think I'm just gonna let it dry a little bit before I continue. It's super crinkled up. Look how annoying. Yeah, I got a super love-hate relationship with the paper in this journal here. I think that's why it's taking me so long to just finish off the last pages and get it shelved. It's this like Indian cotton paper. How can I explain it? Like some of the paintings here, I really took good time painting. It's with watercolor, but as soon as I go in and play, it just is difficult to work with. This is also gouache, and that's from Kathy Arbor stream, I think. Okay, I think I'm gonna hit it with a heat gun. Um, let's see how it behaves. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Usually, I don't use heat gun on gouache because I'm just sitting by myself painting, so I got time for it to dry up. It's a little bit new for me to heat set it, but let's see if it complains or what happens. Now, when it's drying up, can you see how these white specks are appearing? Oh, I hate it. I'm gonna cover it up. I really dislike those white specks in every, if you're working on canvas or a watercolor ground board, whatever I'm working with, when I dry the paint and those white specks appears, I always go in and fix it. So I'm just gonna fix it here too. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna see it down here. It's gonna be covered up with a lot of other things, hopefully. Okay, but now since I got this fine brush here, maybe I can work on the round shape of this moon a little bit more, maybe. It's like this side is always difficult for me to do in round circle shapes. I'm best at painting the left side, no, the right side, it's called, of a round circle. So if I was not streaming, I would be flipping this journal upside down. Yeah, this is nice. Ooh, let's see. You remember my Lord of the Rings? Yeah, oh my God, I was so upset because I started drawing people from the TV series, and then the longer the season was running, the more I hated it. Not hated my artwork, but I hated the series itself. Like so many stupid things was in that TV show. I never returned and watched season two. I don't think that I can endure it. I mean, I really think that sadly it was one of the worst TV series that I have ever seen, and I thought it was gonna be epic and nice because who can fuck up a Tolkien universe? But I guess it's possible. So yeah. Let's see. White specks is a pizza. Yes, it is. You must deal with them too when you're printing, right? Like you make a pull and then you have a wrinkle that's leaving these white specks, and you just want to go in and fix it. Um, Hello, Miss Ellie K. Welcome to my desk. Yeah, a starry background. Yeah, that could be cute here too, right? Uh, no, you haven't watched season two. I mean, there were so many stupid things in that Rings of what was it called? Power of Rings, Rings of Power. Um, Hi, Alike. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is Tolkien's universe, right? And then Jeff Bezos thought that he's gonna make a TV series, so he ran into some issues because the people who own the rights to the Lord of the Ring Tolkien refused him to use a lot of the books, so his scriptwriters had to have a spin on it, and they called it the Rings of Power, and they kind of messed up with so many things from the Tolkien universe. So if you are like a hardcore Tolkien fan, you will not like watching Power of Rings because they're messing up so many things. Like they're introducing Gandalf in a time age where he's not supposed to be. They are also introducing the Balrog in a wrong time zone. They are making Galadriel look like a Karen. She's not this gracious hero-ness that you get the impression of when you read the books. She's very masculine in the Power of Rings, and that totally turned me off. And also in Tolkien's universe, people are getting hurt, and you know they how can I explain it? Like the heroes can get knifed and hurt, and like they're like real humans. But in that TV series from Amazon, Galadriel survived a pyroclastic volcano eruption, and she was just standing there, and she didn't even get her hair burned. I mean, when things becomes like that, I really dislike it. And I think it's the problem with most modern TV series is that most of the heroes in the TV series are these young invincible heroes that nothing can kill them. And it just turns me off. So when people are surviving a freaking volcanic pyroclastic cloud um in the same style as what is the island, what is it called? It starts with a P. Pompeii, yeah. Like Pompeii style, everybody around her gets incinerated, burned to ashes, but not her. It just makes me turn off. Yeah, Pompeii. um I've read a few of the books. Oh, they're so good. Okay, I think this is dry enough for me to come over this. I'm looking at this drawing here. It looks like I painted the black foliage in the background first, so I'm gonna do the same. Let me take a round brush for that. That would be nice. What about this? It looks like it's just some big leafed, um, Yeah, instead of going black, I think I will go dark gray for that one. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And then I will save the black for the tree trunks. So I'm just gonna make these like Jurassic leaf shapes petals. But yeah, I think it's a trend that happened suddenly that whenever you're watching a science fiction TV series, it's all these young people aged 21 who can maneuver complicated spacecraft, and they can do martial art, and they can there's just this generation thing going on where I got left behind because I still like old school heroes like Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones. I like that he's this elderly, wise guy because I kind of feel that his wisdom lies in his age somehow. So I find it plausible that he has read something about this mythical thing because he looks like he's fitting the role so well, that it makes it plausible that he knows stuff. So I get kind of quickly turned off when I see like supernatural TV series with all these young, invincible actors. I hope that Hollywood change. I mean, I hope that Hollywood will start appreciating age more in the future because we are a bunch of people like me, I think, that really miss our old school aged hero. Like, I'm not talking Columbo, like they don't need to go back like that, but we can still endure watching and following and kind of like watching a hero that's got gray hair and don't need all that young young energy. But I think my mistake is that in my household there are like two other guys, my son and my hubby, and they like to watch the Marvel movies. So maybe I've just watched a little bit too much Marvel that's good for me. Maybe that's the reason. Okay, here this gray is a little bit thick. So I think what I will do, instead of dipping my brush into water, I will simply just mist this area here. Because if I dip my brush into the water to make the gouache more elastic, I will maybe risk adding too much water to it. So I'm just going in thick. And this is what I mean about how nice it is to work with an inexpensive set. Like this 112 pan uh, gouache palette didn't set me back a lot of money compared to how much money I spent on the Schminke gouache. So on the Schminke gouache, I would feel that I'm wasting product because most of this is going to be covered up. So what's nice about, rather, you could say, like student grade inexpensive, is that I jump into painting projects like this where I'm so enjoying the process and I'm not even thinking about how much of my painting is going to be covered up, hence wasted material because it's going to be covered up because it was inexpensive. So, hooray for all the choices we have when it comes to watercolor, acrylic. You can buy a very inexpensive substitute for some of the high-end brands because I really feel that it makes us more playful. But yeah, as you can see when I'm building up on this page, this is one of those where you can do this in so many mediums like crayons, gelatos. If you got one of those tempera sticks, perfect for this kind of style here. 112 pans, yes. It looks like this. There is a lot pre-mixed, and it saved me a lot of white. So, and I also have so many pre-mixed pans that I don't need to sit and mix out a quantity first. Like I don't sit and need to mix out this blue first and figure out how much should I mix out, how much do I need. I just have a pan that's pre-mixed I can dip in. So I like it. Yeah, it's fun. It's also very joyful to look at. I sometimes feels that it's like eye candy looking at all the pans, opening up the lid. So sometimes when I don't even have anything in mind to paint, I like to just open up the lid, look at the pans, and then I get inspired like that. I'm really like that also with watercolor, that I kind of grab. I got different sets of watercolors, and I like to just grab a set that I haven't used for a while and opening it, looking at it, and then an idea comes like, oh, I could paint this. So I'm sort of a very visual, motivating, I get motivated visually instead of, I don't know how else people are getting motivated. Are you duplicating the painting on the right? Oh, yes, yes, I am, because I painted this in 2022 and I see a lot of mistakes that I would like to go in and correct. And then I thought, instead of correcting them, why don't you just try and do my rendition of it? And it looks like I learned so much from those past 3 years of what I like when I paint with gouache. And one of the things that I can see now is that today I would not be satisfied with the watered down application where I can see the background of the color. And I would not like that I got some colors in the background that are not mass tone, because I think what the property about gouache is that matte velvet mass tone. So just the fact that I got several places in the background that I would it it's tinkling in my fingers to go and mix that color and touch it up. And then I also had a very watered down white, so the spots on the trees, I read them as light gray. They are not popping. It doesn't pop. Can you see that? So there's a lot of things that I would like to touch up. So instead of doing that, I was thinking, why don't I just redo it? Because it's rather simple. It's only like 5 layers. Like we already did 2 layers. Now we have to paint the trees. So you can work in steps with this one here. And to me, it looks like the trees are just going to be in black. So I'm just going to grab the black color. Um, I'm just going to make a trunk just going down. It's going to be funny to see if there is a visual difference between that light gray and this black color here. Probably not. Doesn't look at it like that so far. Maybe a little bit. Here I feel that I should just have super black stem, like a silhouette, because we're gonna come on top of this with white dots. So I would really appreciate like a nice sharp edge here if I can get that. And then this stem, this branch right here. I don't think that I will make it so choppy because I think that's a little bit chunky. So, and then the rule of three, like could be nice to have some of a third. So it's not just like two sticks on that stem. So I would just keep it like that. I still think that it has potential. Let's see. You like aesthetics? Pretty things always. Yeah. Oh, pretty things. Oh my god, I can watch unbox of Japanese stationery. I'm not gonna buy any of it because I don't really know where they get it from. Um, but there are some channels and they're mostly like made from Japan, so they don't speak in them. They just add either ASMR or music, and then they just unbox their stationery that's wrapped in so nicely in the gift boxes and just so lovely to look at. And I love to start my morning with just one of those. I'm gonna call it like an ASMR clip with one of those ASMR clips with there's like no speech, just music, and then this pretty unboxing of something that's carefully wrapped in color coordinated tissue and ribbon. And oh my god, I kind of like that branch that's just going across there. So to make sure that I end the same way, I'm just gonna start it up here. Then at least I'm sure it's gonna have the same angle. Oh my god, that looks so weird. I think I need to alter my tree trunk to make it look a little bit more plausible. Like I don't know about you, but I don't think that I ever have seen such a ridiculous twist of branch in nature. So I think I'm gonna enlarge this trunk to go more up here. Yeah, that's still odd, but maybe the oddness of that branch is what makes this painting a little bit different, if you know what I mean. So maybe it's okay. I just still think that it looks a little bit odd. I'm gonna try and thicken the end here. See if it helps me a little bit. Man, that's still weird, right? Okay, I'm gonna thicken the, the tree. Let's see if I like it more if I thicken this. Okay, now I like it a bit more. that's likable. Hello, Carol. Yeah, you love pretty packaging too? Yeah, me too. I also watched, oh my god, it was like this channel where she bought advent calendars with makeup inside. I just loved watching all the fun way of making advent calendars shaped as a shoebox, as a princess tower, or like all that packaging was just super nice to watch. Not so much the content inside because I am not a makeup freak, but it was just fun to watch the yeah, all the packaging. This is nice. Okay, I think step two will be to add the white dots on these trees. And I think the mistake I might have made when I made this attempt here was that I didn't allow the gouache to dry up first. So when I came on top of a much too water saturated brush and made my marks, when they dried up, they picked up the underlying paint and then they dried up gray. So now I'm going to take the time to let these trunks dry before I come in with the white dots. So hopefully it will it will work. So, but I kind of like that I could sort of hit it with a heat gun. So I'm going to try and hit it with a heat gun again. Okay, it's kind of new for me to use heat gun on gouache. I usually have the time to just let it dry on its own, but I can tell on the way that the paper is buckling that it's still not completely dry, but somehow the top coat is locked in and dry. So I'm just gonna put on the white now. Hope it's okay. I'm just gonna let the paper cool down. Now it's like almost like cooked, with that wet inside the paper fibers, and then you cook it with the heat gun. So gonna allow it to just cool off. Okay, I like that it's like these dots of paint brush instead of taking like a dot tool and dot it in. So I'm just gonna keep it like that. Um, and just take my white and then start. Yeah, I like it. Can you see how much it pops compared to this over here? It's like it's a whole different application, right? Oh, I don't know why it's difficult to speak while I'm making these dots. I think it's okay that they're a bit clumsy looking. Yeah, it's much more vibrant. Sometimes I think that I must have used too much water on my brush, and it probably happens because I'm really bad at painting a whole painting with the same brush. But I don't know if you guys have noticed while I've been working on this piece here, I have switched in between. So far, this is brush number 4, and these are the other brushes I have used. So it's a good idea to use one brush, put it aside, so it kind of dries a little bit, so that it doesn't hold so much water because you keep rinsing it out and using it again and again and again and again. I'm just going in super thick because I don't want it to pick up any of the black when it dries. So I just want it to stay white. I got two kinds of white gouache in my palette. One is called a Chinese white, and one is called a mixing white. Usually the Chinese white is a zinc. No, it's a titanium white that's more opaque, and then the mixing white is a little bit translucent compared to the titanium white. But as soon as you rip off the plastic that's covering your gouache cups, you don't know which is which one. So I'm still often in doubt which white is what. Oh, that looks nice. So much more vibrant than that one. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Next up is that oh, I am tempted to make that tiger's head that you mentioned, Devon. Man, it could be so cute with a tiger's head, right? Like right here. Hmm. I definitely would need some inspiration for. I cannot just wing a tiger. So okay, let me grab a book of a Danish famous gouache painter and see how he would solve a tiger's head. Whatever makes you happy. That you're so true. It could be so nice. Okay, hang on. I need to lean over my table. So I hope I don't knock the camera. Whoop. Hans Scherfig is a Danish gouache painter from 1905 to 1979. And I really like his rendition of especially jungle animals. So my plan is to flip through. This is a full catalog of all the paintings that he has made. So I think I'm lucky to find a tiger somewhere. I like to look at his illustrations because I know he's painting with the exact same medium. Oh, there's a tiger there. Okay, we got one tiger there. Let's put in a piece of paper there. I like to flip through his book. Oh, a lion's head would also be cool to get inspiration for gouache paintings because there's something in the way that he's still kept his immature, childish style as an adult. So they're just translating into whimsical, childish, likable caricatures of animals that I really find likable. So I have often tried to just stop at a page like this and then had that as a reference picture when I'm playing with gouache. I actually like this guy so much that I especially like his lizards. And I actually bought one of his things. This is an original Sherfic. Isn't it awesome? But it's because I like his style so much that I wanted the real thing so I could see. I just wanted to see. Um, was that the only tiger? Oh, got a cat also. But he has painted a lot of weird things before he settled on painting animals from the African continent. But these could be fun to if you're making your own stamps to use as inspiration for carving. Okay, now we're on nudity. Don't think that YouTube wants that. Seems like this is the only tiger that he shows. Could be fun to look at this as a starting point, right? So what I do when um, I almost said stealing his image when I'm using his image for inspiration, is that I think, how did he build it up? I think first I want to make a white silhouette of the face and then add on the orange, the eyes, and then the black at the very end. That's how I'm gonna treat this. So let me try and do that. So first I need the white, and I actually had a brush that I used for the white. There's this one here. I think my face would be peeking up from this area here. So I could, and I want some of this foliage to be in the back so it's not painted in vain. So maybe I could lower the face all the way down here. He's like really sneaky guy. That's his forehead. And then he had the ears lying down. like a triangle. I'm just gonna make them a little bit soft and not so pointy. Like he's really lurking, you know. And then the head, it looks like it's just this kind of a round shape. Oh my god, it looks so much like a pig right now. You know, I would start painting a pig's face. But let me block this in with white and then I can assess the shape better. But the fun thing about Sherfik's kind of childish way of depicting animals is that it frees me up. You know, like I feel like, oh, then everything is possible. I don't need to make it look like naturalistic or realistic, you know? As long as you're just having fun, and it looks like he have had a lot of fun while he is creating his art. Okay, I think I want to render this face a little bit to be like more. Oh, that was too much. A little bit. Now it's completely out of shape, but I'm gonna roll with it, see what happens. That error right there, I can cover it up with black gouache. Okay, I still kind of see a pig, you know. But did he ever travel to Africa? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of his style in his studio. Like he created linoleum stamps of his animals. So when he sold pictures, he could stamp out the images and reproduce his artwork like that. But I don't really know how he got all his animals. What inspired him? If it was a trip to Africa or um, yeah, I'm still looking at my there's something off. Maybe I just need a little bit more volume up here. And then I'm thinking like maybe a little bit bigger ears, maybe. Yeah, but I still kind of see a pig, a pig shape. Let's put in the eyes and the orange. Um, just gonna coat this with the orange. I think the forehead here should be somewhat in orange. And then also the nose. And then it looks like orange stripes. That's the mouth. And then maybe a little bit of the orange around the ears. Okay, I think I need a very, very fine tipped black liner. Like maybe like this. Like super, super fine brush. Okay, I'm gonna color in the eyes. I want some sort of a yellow. Um, for the back of the eyes. So I'm just gonna make like an almond shaped yellow right there. And now where I got the yellow, I think I'm gonna start putting it in elsewhere also. Uh, maybe also up in the forehead, so it's not so orangey. With gouache, I think yellow sometimes is the most transparent color. So it's nice to have that white background blocked out. So I don't need to worry about getting it opaque enough. Hey, Amber! Welcome to my desk. Okay, we got black here. We need to do the line work of the eyes. Oh man, I got like a rogue hair on this brush here. Okay, let me see if I can. He's just making like a black center. I'm just gonna do the same. Okay, now we got the black, so we can really try and get in some features. Okay, then we have okay, I'm very quiet. I'm sorry for being so quiet. I just need to think that I got like one chance to get in that orange, because when I come on top of it with the black, it's kind of too late, to try and put orange on top of the black. So I'm thinking about maybe I should put in the nose so I can see if I need more. It's a hunting Hunting creature. Yeah, can you see? I could actually get a little bit more orange here. Oh my god, he's looking really ferocious. Okay, let me get in the black stripes. I feel I want to dry this. On, okay, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. The black stripes. Let's see, one stripe. And then we have another one here. And then there's actually a mark here. And I kind of feel that his eyeliner could be more expressive. And then, of course, he's got white whiskers. How the heck am I going? Maybe I can do the white whiskers with a Posca pen or something. Hi, Barbara. Oh, coffee. I'm so glad you mentioned coffee. I made coffee and now, it's still a little bit hot. Mm. I think I should heat set this and then do the whiskers with a Posca pen because I'm not sure I can draw such fine whiskers with my brushes. Or should I try? Okay, I'm gonna try to draw in the whiskers. So it's gonna be like a 100% gouache painting. But I still feel I need the underlying paint to dry so that I don't pick it up. And then I could go for a little bit symmetry in the eyes here. Oh, he looks mad. It's okay. He's a hunter, right? He can look ferocious. I'm having two rinsing jars. You really need that when you work with gouache because one jar is getting contaminated and dirty very quickly, and then you have that clean, cleaner water next to it. Okay, now this is completely clean. I'm just gonna heat set this a little bit. Oof, okay, I picked up a little bit, just a little bit more. Okay, let's be a daredevil and go in with the white whiskers. I think I need to water down the gouache a little bit so that it becomes easier to flick it into a thin hair. Oh, that's very thick. It's a thick, clumsy line. Yeah, there was a bad call. Can you see that? So, what to do now? I think we should just let it be. Let it be. I'm just gonna let it be, I think. But what I would like to do is that he's kind of hiding behind this dark foliage. So I'm gonna take some of the darker green that seems to be our next layer and make that a little bit on top of him somehow. Let's see if I can get a highlight into that eye right there. Okay, enough about the tiger. What a great idea. It's fun. I like that it's got an alive animal on it instead of just being like this, you know? Let's see. I'm getting ready to start setting up a new watercolor palette. Yay! I got a few new Daniel Smith colors, and I think I'm going to do an all Daniel Smith. Oh, great. Oh, man, I wish that I could be next to you. I love setting up palettes. It's just so fun. So, how big a palette is it? How many pans do your palette have? Okay, I need a darker green now for the foliage. So I'm just gonna take a round brush, I think, size 3 or 4, like not too big. So I can just kind of, oh guys, maybe I can use a thicker brush actually. Maybe I can go up to this around 6 or 8. It says 10 here, but this is not a 10. This is more like a 6 or 8. And then I'm gonna pick a color. I think I like this one here. And I'm just gonna use the tip of my brush to shape the leaf. And this is, not realism. So you got like free, you can do whatever you like. It has 40 half pans. Oh my god. That's the even better. I, do you know how fun it is to have a 40 pan palette that you need to set up? I love those because then you really need to think about where to put what where. So that's awesome. If you don't have 40 Daniel Smith colors yet, it's nice that you can move them around. So if your collection grows, you can make room for the new colors that are coming. I actually don't know how many. Look, I think it would be a shame to block off too much of that background, but you have to do it. So that's what I dislike about sometimes working with gouache in layers. It is that it is necessary for you to block out what you have done, to get that layering effect. I feel the same when I'm working with gel prints and those kind of things, that it's such a shame to block up a good background. If you're collaging something on top, but you just need to be hard and just do it. I think it's very nice to work with petals where you can just squish down your brush barrel, and then that makes the shape of the petal. So you don't really have to invent the wheel for this drill here. The only thing that's a little bit annoying is that the gouache needs to be a little bit moist to be pliable to make a squashed petal shape, if you know what I mean. One of the things I dislike about this painting over here is that my stem is not opaque enough. So it skips in its opaqueness. So this time I'm taking the time to make sure that I got enough thick layer of paint so that the black background is not uh, showing up in small specks or anything, because I noticed that that was what I disliked about this one here. Oh yeah, for those who just came in, I am making a rendition of a gouache painting I painted 3 years ago, because I can look at it now with different eyes because I have played more with gouache during the last 3 years. So instead of getting annoyed every time I reach this page in my sketchbook, I would rather just do a remake of it on the opposite side. So I still sort of enjoy looking at this one here. I think we are our own worst critics when it comes to evaluating a flip through of an old sketchbook. Sometimes it's fun and it's like, oh, look how far I have come, kind of vibe to it. Like you can really tell your progress in some areas, and other times it can be such an agony looking at an old sketchbook that you don't feel any joy of it because you keep looking at what you would have done differently today, like, oh my god, did I really do that, did I really, um so the way to get past that, I feel, is to try and do remakes of your old drawings, and then you can also appreciate having a reference picture that's kind of fun, because it's one of your own creations. So it's just less stressful, because everything you're looking at is something that you once self created yourself, so of course you can do it again. So sometimes I pick a reference picture that are too that I'm not qualified to do a remake of. You know what I mean? Like that's out of my limit. Especially if it got like realism in it or something. But when I use my own drawings as my reference pictures, it soothed me to know that at least once I did it, so hopefully I can do it again. Um, Lena, will you add dates to these two pages? Yeah, I should. I really should. Let's see. Oh, I missed so much in chat. I'm just sitting here babbling. Oh, thank you, Allie. Oh, Devon built up slowly over time, completed 48 half pans. Wow, that's a good collection. That's nice to get them, slowly so that you also got time to figure out your favorites. I got the Daniel Smith dot card, and it kind of opened up my eyes towards the granular paints. I would call them like effect paint. Look, what I did just there was with a brush that was too wet. So now that gouache is no longer transparent. Can you see that? I did that also over here, but then I just ignored it and continued. Not today. So I think now we know how that happened over here. It was just like that. What I love about Daniel Smith is that it can actually be possible to create a specialty palette if you pick out certain of their tubes. So it's a different palette than most novelty palettes because they got a granular component. So I kind of, if I could do everything over, I would have loved not to have bought so many novelty palettes and instead just buy one tube at the time of paint that can do something special for me, like granulation or like dual, like the is it called? Let me think a little bit. What's it called? Cascade green is one of the colors where it's got a turquoise undertone and a gold undertone, and then it's green. But when it separates out, it's showing the turquoise and the gold and the green. So it's a fun color, right? So also the Luna Black got, maybe it's because it's a PBK 11, but it's just got such a fun granulation that when you mix it with other colors, you can add that quality to other colors. So just by having one tube of the Luna Black can give you mixes that are similar to the dusk colors from Van Gogh. So if I've known that be- before I started buying all those novelty pans, I would have thought more about those things. But hey, my hobby, he said, don't fuss about money spent on art supplies that you are no longer super fun about, because it was like an education. So you needed to buy these things to know what you know today. So maybe there's some truth in that. Okay, I think that that was enough for that first underpainting. Um, okay, we're gonna let this dry, and then gonna come in with some straws where we're gonna cover up partially the tiger's face, like he's hiding behind those straws. But we could actually paint some sort of a leaf here. Let's see. I sort of want his body to be covered by a foliage. So yeah, okay, we're gonna let that be. Ah. Oh, hi, Kathy Arbor, welcome. I'm sorry that I didn't notice you before. I've been really bad in this live stream noticing people super late because I'm all up in my own bottom with this page here. Kathy, I'm recreating a painting I did in 2022 because I see a lot of gouache errors, where I came in and it was not opaque. I think it's sloppy not to have that crisp. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna risen up the sketchbook. What I dislike about this page is, look how I just applied it not opaque. That just annoys me. So I have little pleasure when I flip to this page spread here because I keep focusing on why didn't I wait until the tree was dry to add the white dots so they didn't become gray but stayed white. Just small things like that. So and then of course had to say, couldn't it be fun to add a tiger's head in the middle of everything? So we had to try that. So it's a little bit different. Okay, now I want to add some of these straws here. So I am thinking to go super close. Um, First of all, I like that a straw would appear behind the tiger, right? He would be hiding like that. And then I really need to think because remember what I said about don't worry about covering up things? Man, I kind of know that I need to cover up some of his face to keep the illusion that he's hiding behind the straws. So what if I choose to cover up the part where I think his whiskers are a little bit too hefty? But even though I hate to cover up part of his face, I think I would need it to keep the illusion that he's sort of hiding. I also am in doubt about the width of his fat face right here. So maybe I can camouflage that by adding the straw right across his chin. So out of mind, out of sight. I won't be looking at that chin in the future thinking there's something off right there. Okay, now I think I just need to thicken up the gouache. That's the worst part with gouache when you have to do fine line work because you need to water it down to get it elastic, to make it pliable. And then you're actually messing with the opaqueness of the medium. Yeah, I feel my brush is too thick and clumsy for this. So I'm switching to a very thin. With acrylic, you could really get this sharp and detailed, but gouache is a little bit uh, heavier in the bottom. So that's one of the things that I dislike about it. That I can feel. I'm thinking like, oh man, if this was in acrylic, I could have just have done, like whoosh whoosh. Hi, Sandra. Let's see. Oh no, Devon. I hope she has a speedy recovery. Oh, that's not good. I kind of like that all the straws are having the angle to pull you like inwards towards the drawing. So I guess I'm just gonna continue with that direction. But you have to admit it's fun to work in layers in a drawing like this where you can't really do anything wrong because it's just the style, like it's very liberating. having a session like this. Just a few more, and then I think we have enough of these strands here. Whoops. Yeah, I'm fighting the viscosity of the gouache. It's very difficult to do these light linear strokes with gouache and then keep them opaque. So I'm just trying. Okay, the next I can see on my drawing is that I had this kind of strange abstract leaf thing going on. Don't think that it's a real plant in real life. Um, you like that style? Yeah. What I love about abstraction is that you can kind of invent your own foliage. So whatever brush you pick that where you think like, oh, that makes a nice leaf mark, you can just wing it and then go with it. Okay, I wouldn't mind changing up. So my next layer got a more bluish tone and not so much a greenish tone. So I'm just gonna be a little bit brave and see what happens if I make my next layer with this beautiful blue here. Look, now I am in that thin line work hell again. Okay, if I don't breathe, then maybe it will be nice. Yeah, that kind of helped. Okay, I think I want to keep the leaves very close to this branch here. And I'm just pressing down the brush. And not to have like soldiers on a row, I think I will skip some edges, some areas, so it doesn't become so like completely soldiers on a row, you know? Okay, one more of those. That was a fun one, except for making the straight line. Oh my god, that was. Okay, now I have to think what do I not want to cover up? I think if I can come in from the bottom here and make it end right here. Yeah, that would be nice. I like that blue color. Don't you? Like, it's very refreshing. That was an ugly mark right there, so I am immediately going to put a leaf there. What I'm looking for here is opacity. I want it really to be opaque. So I think I'm gonna top coat some of these marks with an extra glaze, just to be sure. I like in gouache paintings that it's opaque. I see it when I look at other people's work. So I'm gonna try and get the same mass tone on every single of these leaves here. Whoops. Okay, I'm gonna look at chat in a minute. I'm so bad at checking chat today. Uh, there we go. I definitely need one more of these funky thing here. Maybe over here somehow. Let's see. Uh, of the topic of Lena, off topic. My wax melt I used today were so liquidy. What are thicker waxes? Yep, good question. Um, the most liquid wax is when you actually take beeswax or candle wax. Then it becomes so liquid that it actually runs. And the less liquid and most thick, I would say, is the transparent wax, like oops, sorry. The thickest wax I have ever worked with have been transparent, and this is enough to be called transparent, like it's not opaque. And the cherry blossom wax is the most thick wax that I have ever worked with. And sometimes I take a white one and mix with an opaque one to make the opaque one thicker, if you know what I mean. These pink one here, they are so sheer in color that you can kind of mix them in to other opaque colors and uh, get a thicker thickness. But to me, it looks like the transparent waxes are taking a long time to leave the spoon. So you get that thick pour, and it stays round on your silicone mat. It doesn't like run out. And when you push the seal on top of it, the stamp, it kind of stays round. Like, I can give an example. Like that transparent wax is giving you that round shape, where a more liquid wax will give you these uneven, because it's running. In the second you push down the seal, it's running out. Like, look how these are so uneven, because the wax got so liquid when it got heated up. But all the seals I made with that what I call transparent, uh, they are more firm. Like almost all of them are just super firm. I don't get that the excess wax oozing out when I squeeze the stamp down. It just stays firmly. Uh, This wax here is the what is it called? Clover wax. It's also firm. It's not as firm as the transparent wax and the clover wax. Looks like this. Oh, I hope that it will focus. You can see like a tiny print of a clover. Or maybe not. Will it show? Oh man, does it show? Uh, uh, Maybe you can see that there is like a tiny print on top of them, looking like a clover. This is a good wax. It's not super firm, but it's semi-firm. I feel I can control it and get those nice round edges. And I don't have an ooze out excess wax like this where it just splotches out. uh, yeah, you can see all of these. They are like so uneven. Like this is a typical clover wax. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's hard. It's hard to put words on it. Uh, you can't get the clover wax. They're very popular in Korea. That is odd. I found mine on AliExpress. I thought maybe Timo and AliExpress had the same suppliers. Uh, one of those silicone mats with the circle opening for the wax to sit in. Um, okay, they are annoying. What happens is that when you got excess wax, it will spill over, so you will get that overhanging lip. And then when you peel out the wax, it just looks weird because it got that underlying edge. So, is these made with those? I think I used that mat for one of these. Or maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to look if I used one of these. Yeah, maybe I. So what I do is that I try not to let it spill over because then it really looks weird. But you really need to count, like maybe there is like 3 beads that can fill out this hole without it spilling over. So that's how I work with these here. I thought that I had some of them that were like star shaped and whatnot. Not right here. But some of the silicone mats, these here, fits the good quality stamps, and some of the lesser quality stamps are too small. Let me show what I mean. Like this is a Timo lesser quality stamp. It's like less metal and it's not so big in diameter. This is an expensive seal or stamp, and it's bigger in diameter, and it actually fits these molds. So if you have a lot of these inexpensive that are smaller, you will end up having uh, such a thick edge that it kind of is so dominating that it looks weird. You need that thin uh, edge. So I'm just putting it out there because when I first got this one here, I didn't have many of these expensive seals. So a lot of the waxes that I made looked kind of weird when I was pushing them out in this mold here, and they achieved that very thick round edge, like really fat border. Um, so I quickly just didn't like what I saw with this one here. Yeah, if it makes sense. Like, I don't know if you can imagine how cute it looks when the border is fitting like this compared to how weird it looks. Look, this is also an expensive. Like in this star shape here, can you see how invasive thick of a border you get? Yeah. So yeah, but okay, it's just yeah. You don't mind the thick edge? Uh, I don't mind it either, but since it's so difficult to get a perfect round edge, of course my brain wants the perfect round edge all the time, even though it's very difficult. But I guess that's just human nature, right? What's hard to get is what we think we want to aim for, because then we're just like, haha, when it happens, getting really happy. So yeah, I'm just gonna reinforce the opaqueness of the gouache here. So it's like this blue color here and not picking up anything from the background. It's strange. If do you use Timo or AliExpress? Why would they have? Maybe they do have different suppliers depending on if they are shipping to the European Union or the US. I find that my country is banning most of the items coming from Timo. It's a quality issue thing, like they're using things that contains lead and yeah. Uh, ooh, what was it? I noticed that ever since Paul Rubens started to have their watercolor, the pretty excellent in a, they call it a metal pan. I am not able to get that in Europe, and I think it's because the metal is not real metal. It might contain lead, scrap metal lead. So that's why they're not allowed to import it into Denmark. So I think I see that our custom is after, they are on the neck of all the Timo and AliExpress products, because they are not using healthy choices when it comes to the metal. And it kind of makes sense, all that scrap metal that we export to China, we are getting it right back in our products, um, just described as metal, but you don't really know what kind of components are in that metal. Even though it's just a metal watercolor tin, it can actually contain lead. So I think that they have segregated their import and export, no, not import, but export towards Europe or US into two different categories because one country may accept their so called metal and another country may not. Uh, let's see. A lot of those places also copycat other brands illegal. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see. Uh, True, and also the paint they use to cover it could be bad as well. Yeah, we have issue with a red pigment coming from China that are not allowed in Denmark. And then I learned it because I wanted the gouache paint of Paul Rubens and I couldn't get it. And then I was just chatting with another girl who is from Denmark. And then she said she strongly suspect that it was that red color that contained something in a color number that was illegal for Denmark. And I actually think she's right. Also, the grabby paint that Janet got and the grabby paint that was sold here in Europe are not the same. It's not the same. I've I've really first I remember Janet made a statement about this grabby is so good and she recommended it to everyone, you know, and I was like, no, 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 that's like the worst paint you can get. So I made an upload telling them about my experience with grabby paint, and then I watched some more uploads about Americans swatching grabby paint, and that's when I realized, oh my god, we are sitting with two completely different products. Some of the colors are not even the same, you know. So that's when I first learned and realized that, gosh, they are manufacturing different things to what market they're going to send it to. Okay, now I need one final layer, and it looks like I just dotted a lot of dots. So we're gonna do the same, and I think I'm gonna go lighter and lighter in color. So for this, I will try. Let me just try it, maybe down here and see how it goes. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna continue. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna build in a stem for this dotting action. Do I have a stem? No, I don't even have a stem here. So maybe I shouldn't worry about having a stem either. But I think it will become more unified in the future. Like AliExpress and Timo is very new here in Denmark. It's only been 2 years or something. Up until that, it was most common for us to use Amazon. But then suddenly, third-party sellers from Amazon starts introducing Timo products to Europe and asking a lot of money for it. So I think that's how we got our eyes open for Timo, was because we realized that if we are finding the same thing on Amazon, we're gonna pay sometimes 3 times more than it's listed at AliExpress or Timo. So it's like a third party seller who is trying to make money on that. Um, oh my god, I can barely think over here. I am in this. It's a shame to cover situation here. I really like this area up here, so I don't feel that I want to come in and cover it so ferociously like here. but and I just need to bite in the sour apple and get it done. Am I the only one who sometimes feel that it's a shame to cover up something? Just gonna do it like this. I also feel that this crazy dot thing here could have some sort of an appearance right here. There's like a lot of dark right there. And then the final camo for the tiger could actually be this crazy plant here coming all the way up there. Yeah. Um Maybe this plant here could turn a little bit around this tree. Okay, I feel I'm done. I'm gonna rip off that tape now. True, and also the paint they used to cover it could. Okay, I read that. But I would like to know, how do you shop from Korea? I have seen a lot of yummy stationery from Korea. So a lot of wax seal industry with the beads and the seals. It's all from Korea, but none of the Korean shops ships to Europe. Isn't that just annoying? So I wrote an email to one of them asking what would it take for them to ship to my country. I can make a bank transfer and pay in advance if it was questionable with the payment. I don't know, but they never replied to me. So I don't know what's up with the Korean boutiques. They also got some watercolors that are specific for the Korean market. So I am very intrigued about getting a connection to a shop that can allow me to buy some of their products. They got pens. Oh man, so many nice pens. Look at all this flaking going on. It's from the tape where the gouache just dried up on. So I'm just gonna, rinse that under my sink. Ta-ta! Okay, let me put a lid on that gouache before it's not gonna dry up on me, but I just like to mist it and put a lid on it as soon as I'm done painting, so that it's not gonna dry up completely. Whoops. Yes, me too. They don't ship to us either. I wonder why. I mean, is it because of a tax? I don't think that there is a tariff on Korea. I don't know. I just think that it's regular tariff, as if we are importing from, let's just say, I almost want to say China, but that would probably be offending to them to be compared with China. But guys, you know what? I like this so much. I'm so glad that I did a new rendition of this. Look how the white is just popping more. Look how nice it is with that crisp line around the moon instead of this wonky. And I just super like that matte background instead of this semi matte background. It looks sloppy. And also look at those. You can see the background color peeking through. I think it's a little bit sloppy. I think it's more crisp when it's completely opaque. So I'm so happy that I took the time to do another rendition of it. What still looks odd is that branch right there, right? I could have placed it differently. I think I just don't like that branch the way that it's peaking like that. Maybe it just needed another, I don't know, leaving it there. Hi, on back. So it was fun to do a remake of this old page here. And like Devin said, I should put a date on it. So I kind of remember. So I'm just going to do that immediately. Like this was painted in 2025. And this was painted in 2022. Yeah, I can't believe that it's already been 3 years ago. But I guess when you look at old sketchbooks and you don't need to go far back, go back like 5 years or something, you will kind of see your improvement. Like that's really how you can see how see a drawing and you think I would do that different today, then you kind of know that you improved from that day. So I'm happy that I did this drawing here. Let's see. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Your eye is much more informed and trained than mine is. I like them both. Oh my God, you do. The first one is a more misty day. That's all. Oh yeah, that's true. But I want to say thank you for coming to my stream. It was nice. Uh, Scott has the house stinking to the high heavens with Bondo. Oh, oh my God, your house renovation. on back. I hope everything slowly is settling in place, and then you will get your house back. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna leave you guys now and wish you a nice weekend. Hi, Maricha. Oh my God, you just came where I'm ending. So, bye everyone, and thank you for sharing your Saturday with me. See you soon. So, bye bye.